So let me introduce our panel to you first. So we have Kirby Arsenault, who's the CEO of Wellsite Fishing and Rental Services. And we also have Rick Fontova, CEO of NXT Energy Services, and Thomas Chance, CEO of ASV Global. These are a great example of energy innovators that have done amazing things in their companies, and they're paying it forward. They're helping these innovators learn what it takes to be successful. And so thank you, judges, for being here today. And what they're going to do is hear all the judges, all the people pitching, pick the one that they think's the best, and then they're going to win not only those prizes, but the coveted Innovate Award. All right. So to get things started, I'm going to bring up Toastmaster pitch winner, National Toastmaster pitch winner, Joelle Dawson. And Joelle has been helping all these people with their pitches and he's been putting his heart and soul into helping these guys. And this is what it's all about in this amazing community. So Joelle, come on up. Tell us what we're going to do today.
All right. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
I tell you what, I don't think I even got that much sleep last night. I kept getting emails from Pete. I kept getting emails from Nick. I started sending emails, and I forgot I had to get up really early just to be here on time. But I've been sitting around for like months while these guys do all the work, Pete and Zach, and it's like, we need to do this, we need to do this. And I'm just sitting there eating pizza. And I've been eating pizza for like 8 months. So I'm really excited about this, so I'll finally get the opportunity to do something. Well, welcome to our first pitch challenge. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to give you a couple of housekeeping rules. During the presentations, I would like if everybody can turn off their cell phone or silence their cell phone at this moment. You don't have to turn it all the way off because I know some people have kids and things like that, but if you can turn it down to where if it rings, we won't hear Achy Breaky Heart or any of those other songs and stuff like that. So make sure that your cell phone is on silent. And if possible, I understand that we do have a packed room, but if we can all remain seated while the teams or the presenters are presenting, some people in the back are taking pictures, they're filming, and we don't want it to look like one of those bootleg copies. So if we can just kind of, stay seated until after or between from this presenter to the next presenter, that'll be fine. The rules are very simple. They get 3 minutes to tell you their story. They give you their story and what they're going to be offering. And then after that, they will have a 3-minute Q&A, okay, by the judges right here. And as Pete said, they get some nice prizes as well. The order of the speakers, on your seat, you had a card that show all 10 of the presenters. That card looks like the one that Zach has in his hand right there. That is the order that we're going to follow. So is everybody ready?
Yes.
Is everybody ready?
Yes.
Okay, folks, help me welcome in our first team, Invoke.
Thank you very much. Waiting for my slide. Hold on. There we go. Thank you very much. Everybody, this is Nathan. Nathan is an inspector out in the field for maintenance operations. He has an important job because his inspections are what drive the valuation of certain equipment that he's inspecting. And also it helps with preventing and planning for maintenance operations as well. So he has a very important job. However, he's not very good with pen and paper. His managers hate him because he never fills out his forms right. He has terrible handwriting, and he's using the wrong form all the time, and he's just completely aloof. Because of the downturn, he's doing the inspections for 3 people, So he's really not that much of a favorite for his managers. They want him in the can. So what Nathan did one night, while he was looking for another job and stalking his ex-girlfriend on Facebook, he came across Spotter, the customizable inspection app. Now, this is an app that runs on iPad and Android, and he instantly was able to register for that, and he noticed that it was written up in Inspectioneering Journal already. It was released on the 1st of the year. And so Nathan started using the online template library to take all of his paper forms and recreate them in the Spotter library. He could have been inspecting the next day, but instead he waited for the Spotter intrinsically safe Class 1 Div 2 Android tablet. So he's out there inspecting now, and he's doing inspections better than ever. He's capturing images, high-res images, audio files of engines that are running, videos. He's tagging his images with GPS locations. He's turning into a hero here. He's even able to do digital signatures that makes it all legal. Now, Nathan didn't have internet access while he's doing all this. It's running all disconnected in the device. So even though he's in Erath, Louisiana with no internet, he's still able to do his work. So once Nathan got hooked up with his ex-girlfriend again at the Starbucks, he got on a hotspot and was able to upload all of his inspection data. And the inspection data fed a real-time dashboard for his boss back in the office. So all of the metrics, the KPIs, were instantly reflected. Nathan became the hero through Spotter. Spotter was built by Invoke. We're a software company with 28 men in Baton Rouge, 28 people, sorry. And we just got recently accepted into the Opportunity Machine here in Lafayette. Spotter was built completely by us, it's hosted by us, and it's supported by us. It was launched on the 1st of the year. And what we're looking for is not only capital in cash, in terms of cash, but we're looking for that advisor, that mentor, that champion who's going to come on board with us, help us identify our blind spots, serve on our board of directors, and who will help us bring Spotter to the next level. Thank you very much. I think there's a question and answer. There we go.
One quick question. You guys have any sales yet?
Yes, we do. We've generated $200,000 since the first of the year in one-time and recurring dollars, and that's only with 3 major companies. It's being used by 80 active inspectors today, and it's generating $10,000 a month in recurring revenue per client, so $30,000 per month right now, and that's with 3 clients.
Outstanding. Any other potential clients you guys calling on?
Even before the LAGCO show, in which we filled up 2 fish bowls of interested people, we have 15 people in our pipeline. It's a little bit longer sales cycle, but we have 15 in the pipeline right now.
Go ahead.
And who's your targeted market?
Well,
Inspection companies, oil companies, operators?
mostly inspection companies. So a company that has rental tools that needs to have tools and goods and services go out and come back in and get re-inspected, or field inspections. We're already in a company called Satoon Towing, which is a midstream towing company.
Yep, sure.
But we like the oil and gas because I grew up working for Sonat Offshore Drilling out in the Gulf, and so I like oil and gas.
So there's another pitch that's coming up later, Iliad, who has a different software product.
Yes.
How is yours different?
Ours is strictly tablet-based, and it's used for inspections. It's for recreating only the inspection forms. I believe Iliad is ticketing and invoicing, which is really impressive as well.
Okay, all right. And your niche is really oil and gas?
We are starting with oil and gas. We've been approached by attorneys for investigators out in the field to use this, but we're holding off on them.
I mean, really what it is, it's a form builder. So any organization, you could do home inspections with it if you wanted to. But because of ultimately the downturn in the market, we know that there is a need to get inspectors in and out of the facilities quicker, and that's what we think Spotter is capable of doing with better and more accurate data.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good job, Rex. Good job. You give it to him? Okay. The next team is IRNDT, being represented by Mr. Will Lamb.
Thank you very much, Joel. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Will Lamb. I'm the Business Development Manager for RNDT Inspection Systems based in Houston, Texas. We offer an exciting, revolutionary alternative to the current inspection method known as the drill pipe buggy inspection, as shown here. We are seeking $750,000 with a return on investment of 20% in 36 months. We will use these monies to manufacture our patented IRUT-DP inspection system. Alternatively, we are seeking a joint venture partner with existing used drill pipe processing facilities. In this scenario, our newly manufactured ultrasonic inspection system would serve as a high-technology cornerstone to attract additional material to be inspected by the host facility using their existing service platform. Under the joint venture scenario, joining new technology and much-needed services, we envision the union producing a jointly owned entity tailored to the investment criteria and time horizon that is most advantageous to the parties. This joint venture can be accomplished with your capital contribution and to allow us to bring to market one drill pipe inspection unit as well as the mechanical hardware to operate at a second location by utilizing the common technical components. As envisioned, our marketing efforts for services at existing facilities such as tool joint and upset inspection, hard banding, IDOD tube cleaning and straightening, and associated services, just to name a few. Our units will exceed the current mandates and stringent requirements of API RP7G and TH Hill standard for drill pipe and tube inspection. Our 35 years experience in the ultrasonic inspection of all country tubular goods postures us uniquely to take advantage of the next industry cycle, which we anticipate in early 2017. Now, ladies and gentlemen, is the time for definitive action while manufacturing and related costs are at historical industry lows. Thank you very much, and we look forward to further discussion on how we might work together to bring this exciting technology to market. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to present Mr. Rick Gerndt, our founder and president, who will be glad to take your questions. Thank you very much.
Morning.
So we're on? All right. What kind of cost advantage do you think you have over the competing, the standard system that's out there now?
I like to focus first on the quality advantage, which is substantial. But in the current methodology with the drill pipe buggy, a crew will run approximately 100 pipe per day. We're only interested in the tube inspection, not the end area inspection, the dimensional, the straightening. We want the host facility to provide those services. But with our unit, because we're running the pipe end to end, similar to an NDT 5700 or 6000 unit, our production rates, instead of 100 pipe per day, we can run 400 pipe per day. But using full body ultrasonics, not antiquated electromagnetics, but per our business model is based on producing only 300 pipe per day.
Right. And the most electronics is designed and proven, or?
We actually manufacture our own UT instrumentation in-house, from the board level up to the component.
Right, so your
selection.
36 months that you showed to get up and going or whatnot, I mean, how much of that time is necessary to build
A lot of that is building the hardware of the machine,
Right.
the inbound and outbound axial conveyors, and the center section that raises and lowers to the height of the center line of the pipe. This is the mechanical portion, and some engineering work.
So Rick, just a question, what's your business model? Sell the machine or provide the service?
Ideally, in a perfect world, if it wasn't raining, we would come in on a Monday and a Tuesday, and typically there'd be about 600 joints of pipe ready for us to inspect. We would run that in 2 days, 300 pipe per day. In the model and in the money that we're requesting, we would build a second set of mechanics only at another facility that also is a drill pipe processing facility. On Wednesday, on the third day, when we're finished with the 600 pipe, we would take the technical components from the unit, which would be the bolt-on airheads that hold the ultrasonic transducers, the ultrasonic instrumentation, and we would go to location B. And on Thursday and Friday, we would run 300 joints a day there. So there's our other 600 joints, and at pre-downturn prices, the tube inspection only was going for about $50 a joint with the old antiquated technology. So even using that number, we're on Monday and Tuesday, on Thursday and Friday, we're producing $30,000 a day in both those 2-day periods. So $60,000 a day a week in revenue with a 3-man crew.
Thank you.
So one other question. So you are an inspection company, not just a manufacturer?
We started out 14 years ago, and my original thoughts with this machine was to go and start a service company. Over time, we have evolved, and we have what I call our standard product line. And we have been fortunate enough, we sold a full-length ultrasonic unit to the largest inspection company in the world, and it's currently running for Chevron in Belle Chase, Louisiana. So that's what we've done for the past 14 years, but we have not built a single product based on any one of our 3 patents. From the 3 patents, there are a total of 7 different products that can be made. The patent that this used drill pipe machine is based on is actually a patent for a non-rotating full-body ultrasonic unit that also has the longitudinal component, not just transverse and wall. So instead of spinning the pipe or spinning transducers around the pipe, we're turning this speed into this speed. And mathematically, that's based on pulse density, how often you're pulsing the ultrasonic transducer, the pulse gap between subsequent pulses, and on paper, our unit will run up to 400 feet per minute, which is impractical because you can't get the pipe to the unit and away from the unit, and you would have to have a conveyor from here to the front parking lot to stop the thing. So we base it on about 60 feet a minute production.
Because so your value proposition is speed and better
Speed
technology.
and much higher quality.
A better inspection.
For right now, in RP7G inspections, instead of the oil company getting 100% wall thickness coverage, they might get a Hall effect, which also involves magnetics, and its averaging of walls. It's good at detecting a very sharp decrease in wall thickness, but not eccentricity. It'll go right over normalized thinning over a large area. But for wall thickness, they go out with a small handheld thickness gauge and take readings around the center of the tube, and they write it down on a pad. We're going to give 100% wall thickness coverage from one end to the other with all the data recorded and all in one file with the flaw and the flaw and the wall information. But what's really nice, because of the way our frame and the design is with the inbound, outbound conveyor in the center section, just in line with our new product, we can put the components of a drill pipe buggy, the transverse EMI section with an airhead, and we can do that same inspection as it passes through. And with our own electronics and encoders, we can tie together the different disciplines, our wall thickness, transverse ultrasonic, transverse EMI, and do if-then algorithms. So if the wall saw it, if the ultrasonic UT saw it, and if the EMI saw it, line that all up on a chart, and that's the first place I'm going to go if I'm a prove-up man, because I know that's probably going to be the worst spot on the pipe.
Thank you. Good job. Okay, moving right along to our next presenter, Mr. Mark Savage, Viper Dill. Drill. It says Dill.
Thank you. There's some pickles available in the back, apparently. Hi. Viper Drill has developed a small-scale but highly affordable horizontal drilling solution. This idea dates back a century. In the 5 years that we've carried that torch, we've invested literally millions of dollars, conducted hundreds of tests, and recently, for the first time ever, have successfully deployed such a system downhole. This is a game changer. Unlike conventional perforations that create a drain size on the scale of this, we look to drill out 15 to 30 feet in multiple directions to produce a virtual drain more on this scale. Perfs in red, our drain in blue. There are three main benefits to our technology. The first thing we do is we dramatically increase communication between the wellbore and the pay zone. We do this by cutting through the tortuous routes that hydrocarbons take to get to the well in green and establish in their place virtual flow highways, analogous to why we prefer to cross Houston on a highway HOV lane rather than taking congested, topsy-turvy surface streets. The second benefit of our technology is that we overcome near wellbore damage. Pervasive problems like paraffin, scale, and asphaltene, things which cause headaches in oil field tubulars and surface equipment, but wreak havoc in the much smaller pore spaces of rocks. Imagine your production when the stuff on the left side of the screen is in the tiny space on the right side. The final benefit to our technology is that we can uniformly disperse a wide array of treatment chemicals into the zone to further increase hydrocarbon recovery. The well applications for our technology are extensive. Please notice item number 8. The market has literally hundreds of thousands of candidate wells in this country alone in our 5 to 50 barrel a day sweet spot. Our technology is part of government-sponsored research, which predicts an increase in ultimate recovery of 25 to 30%. Incidentally, that's with 3 to 4 laterals. What if we were to do 6, 8, or 12? More notably is the dramatic acceleration of go-forward recovery. Basically, recover in a few years what might otherwise take decades. Obviously, these two benefits can have a major impact on reserve valuations and for producers struggling in the face of $40 oil. Interest in our technology is high. For example, we're already in conversations with a multinational E&P company which we expect to culminate in a contract. We're looking for help in growing our company and for $1.5 million in our first round of financing. Thank you. Is somebody strong?
Mark, I noticed that previously you had a company called Jet Drill that did it a little bit different, and that there's some other companies that also offer this. Can you just elaborate a little bit about the difference and why this one's better?
Sure. Great question, by the way. I had a company that we worked on using jetting, and the beauty of jetting is you have a hose, and a hose can make it around a very tight radius easily. The problem is you can only deliver so much power to the formation to drill it with a hose, and what we found is that we couldn't cut a lot of formations, or formations that we can cut in surface testing we couldn't cut downhole. So our new system basically uses a PDC bit, synthetic diamonds, to drill rocks. We drilled a myriad of rocks, and at one point we went around the corner to a counter shop store and got some granite and drilled through granite. So basically, the difference between what they can do and what we can do is we open up much more broader universe of candidate formations for the technology. I mean, having done that and tried to make that dog hunt for years and to the tune of a few $1 million on that, the analogy I now use is bringing jetting technologies, or using jetting technologies is like bringing the proverbial knife to the gunfight. It's just not the right solution.
Mark, who's your competition right now?
The jetting companies, and really, in a sense, there's not, this idea, we're obviously going through the patenting process. And when we did that, we found that somebody in the early 1900s had the idea to do this. We look at it, and of course, we're the beneficiaries of advanced manufacturing and so forth, but he had the right idea. We're the first company, to our knowledge, that has turned in 90 degrees in 5.5 inch or larger casing and cuts out into the formation. So it's the jetting companies which are hit or miss, and then nobody. It's a wide open field for us.
Okay, so you started off saying that you had millions of dollars put into this,
Correct.
and now you're like on the cusp of doing it. You need $1.5 million just almost to capitalize on a contract which you're expecting to have. And well, so all these people that put in millions of dollars are just, now that you're there, they're going to walk away?
No,
Where are
we have a sister company that's funded this, that builds actually these units here. So, and of course, building oil field equipment nowadays isn't the place to be. And now that we've been out in the field and successfully deployed the technology downhole, we're looking for expansion capital.
And the sister company put it in as equity or debt?
It put it in as equity. There's no debt on the company.
All right.
Aside
So
from
you're looking for equity or you're looking for debt?
looking for equity. I mean, we can get creative on deal structures. I mean, there's I've got a building, a 25,000 square foot building we're in the process of selling because I need 5,000. You know, so there's several $100,000 in equity that will free up there to expand and grow. Thank you.
Okay, our next presenter, boys, one typo on this whole card, I would be the one to find it. Deal. Our next presenter is Ms. Kathleen Hagar from DMI.
Glasses, Joel, it's not the card. Now you need glasses. I see it's right.
Is that DMI? That's DMI.
It's an L. DML.
Okay, well, they can't hear me. Just say it's DMI for right now. Okay.
All right, so let me know when it's time to go.
You're ready.
All right, thank you very much. Well, good morning, everyone. Imagine, if you will, it's 2008, and the duck hunter is pulling that pirogue out of the back end of his pick-em-up truck, sliding it into the marsh, and boom! This giant lightning strike comes down right behind his truck, lifts him and the pirogue up off the marsh. He shakes. He drags that pirogue back in his truck, goes home and drinks heavily the rest of the afternoon. The next year, he's launching that same pirogue into the marsh. Another lightning strike, boom, comes down right beside him. This time, he pulls that pirogue out of the marsh, he gets in his truck, and he goes home and knocks on his neighbor's door. Royce Nelson, you're the inventor of Landmark workstations, Landmark graphics. You gotta tell me, does lightning strike in the same place twice? And if it does it mean that I have oil and gas under my land? Royce says, I don't know, but I'll find out. Fast forward, it's 2013. Royce Nelson has a patent for the use of lightning strike data to search for natural resources. And there's more in the wings. We've got one in process and one more in the wings. We are now we have already made arrangements with the company who sells lightning strike data. And they are Visa. And we have a global license agreement with them to search for natural resources. In 2014, in this very room, we gave this presentation. We were recognized by our peers. Next. Recognized by our peers with the Best Paper Award. Since then, we have been solving geological problems. We can see trends in oil and gas fields with our attribute technology, and also copper mines in Arizona. We can see framework, we can high-grade leases, we can do permits. We don't need permits, no boots on the ground. We are capable of vast regional data sets, and we deliver in about 2 months. What we're looking for is some assistance to get to the next level. We would very much like depth calibration on studies that can be published. And we would also like investors to help with product development and marketing. Tanks. Where's my tanks?
There's your tanks right there.
Thanks. Questions, please?
Fascinating idea. When do you think with the 50,000, when would you be able to have a marketable product?
What we'd like to do is get something we can publish that will get us depth calibration against 3D seismic. And with that, we want to go visit everybody we know and say, see, now we know how deep this we can see with lightning.
So you get to 50,000 tomorrow. Let's go down the time frame.
All right, we've already made arrangements with the Bureau of Economic Geology in Texas, in Austin, and there's a scientist there with a public 3D data set who's willing to work with us. And if we can buy the lightning data from Weissla and hook it up to our mainframe workstation, we can absolutely get those depth calibrations out of that data set.
It's probably 2 months.
2 months.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So have you approached any high net worth people for $50,000? People in the business know the business.
Royce Nelson knows everybody. If you've ever used a 3D workstation, you can thank him for that. Yes, we've approached a lot of people. We've also gone through pretty much our friends and family type of financing. We think that we are in a position that it is a very profitable solution, but it is also low cost for our customers. And so basically, given that everybody has stopped exploring right now, we haven't had a lot of good success. We think this is the kind of forum where we need to find what we're looking for.
And so you had mentioned if we can buy the data, the lightning data.
We can buy the lightning data.
Okay, can other
Yes.
people?
Oh,
buy-
absolutely. They will sell it to us. That's
I
Weissla.
know, but other people can buy it around you?
Okay.
They can buy it, but they can't do what we do.
Look for lightning strikes? They can buy the lightning strikes, but they can't use those lightning strikes to.
We have a worldwide exclusive with the provider of the data to use this data for natural resource exploration.
Right.
So when they ask why are you buying it, if it's not for weather forecasting, safety purposes, if they mention natural resources, they have to come to us.
And they have a competitor that
There
somebody
is
can buy the
one
lightning data
competitor
from?
that does not supply all of the same data that they do. We are also negotiating a worldwide exclusive with them.
And that data is worldwide?
That data is worldwide, yes. The best data is in the US and Canada, 17 years worth. The data collected worldwide has about 4 years worth of data.
Yeah, and the sparsity or density of that data helps you or hurts your analysis, I would imagine.
Well, as in a number of cases, more is better, but we can still do what we do
Right,
with 3 to 4 years.
cool. All right, talk to all the seismic companies. Yeah, cool.
All right.
Okay, I promise you I will not screw this one up. Josh, how's that?
Morning. My name is Josh, and I'm here to pitch my product, Flange Cuff. The Flange Cuff was designed and developed to fill a need in the offshore oil and gas market. Offshore production facilities would not allow the replacement of compromised bolts and full bolt flanges while in service. This was due to a significant and safety and environmental concern. These bolts were typically replaced during a turnaround or shut-in of the process equipment. These shut-ins cost these companies upwards of millions of dollars per day of lost production. For example, our previous client was subjected to a regulatory inspection. And the result of that inspection was a general idea that the flange joint integrity was overall in very poor condition. The client was faced with an ultimatum. Do they pay the fines and risk getting their facility shut in, or do they bite the bullet and try to change out these studs and accept the risk? At the time, the facility was producing roughly about 35,000 barrels per day, and oil prices were approximately 55 per barrel. If the facility shut in for a small fraction of that time, let's say 8 days, they would have lost roughly about $15 million in revenue. We developed the flange cuff so our clients can still work within the constraints of their safety policies and maintain revenue. Our product, in a nutshell, encompasses the flange, replacing the studs clamping force, and enables us to replace the studs and maintain production. The equipment never has to be isolated, and it never has to shut in. The same client used the flange cuff. We changed the studs and nuts in over 1,600 flanges, and it never had to shut in or isolate. We saved them approximately $13 million by doing so. There are several pieces of equipment that share the same principle as a flange cuff. The general feedback from our clients is that these devices there's too many moving parts, and it's difficult to operate and introduces additional risk. The current market the flange cuff is being utilized in is the oil and gas. The future markets it could be applied to is pulp and paper, nuclear, chemical, municipal, agrochemical, and more. Over the past 2 years, the flange cuff has generated approximately $1.7 million in revenue, and we forecast that the flange cuff will generate approximately $10 million over the next 2 years because of interest by BP Deepwater, Shell Deepwater, Chevron, Dow Chemically globally, BHP, and Williams. We will use the proceeds to obtain an independent facility and staff with administrative personnel and use some of the proceeds for marketing. We currently have invested $1 million in engineering, testing, and manufacturing of 100 units, and we are interested in a venture partnership with like-minded individuals. Thank you.
So just to make sure, your business model is to lease or to sell or to what? Or
It is to lease.
And provide a service.
And we can provide a service, that's right. We can provide a labor force, or we can lease the equipment and train construction companies, operators to install the flange cuff.
Gotcha. Okay. And so with this, you wouldn't have to shut in.
That's correct.
Is the theory. What are the HSE guys telling you?
HSE's guys love it. With all the vetting process that's been doing.
I mean, are they saying, yeah, we agree we don't have to shut in, or they say there's too many lawyers out there, we're shutting it in?
No, for the most part, they agree. I mean, there's a little coaching that goes along with any new technology, right? But the current vetting process that we've demonstrated thus far, we're getting general feedback is saying that it is optimal and it reduces the risk, and they're able to save money.
So Josh, to get from the 1.7 to the 10 million, what are you guys asking for? What do you need?
Well, we're currently entertaining 3 options, and we asked to discuss this privately. We're looking for a minority partnership, strategic partnership as far as lease agreements and distributorship, or a majority or complete acquisition.
Okay, more specifically, how much money does it take to get you from 1.7 to 10, regardless of the framework?
Well, with the 10, we feel confident that what we've manufactured already, the 100 units, will get us there. What we're really looking for is that strategic partnership, where we could share relationships.
So once you clamp that flange cut on there, what takes place? Eventually, they got to replace it, right?
Okay, so
corrosive nuts and bolts. It's
Right.
got to be replaced at some point.
yes, so our clients nowadays have basically realized in an aggressive marine environment that they have a service life on those studs for every 5 years. In the meantime, if they don't have a scheduled shut-in on 4-bolt pattern flanges, they have to shut in that production. So the flange cuff is installed. It has an engineered torque setting. That engineered torque setting equates to the downward clamping force that those studs also create if torqued properly. Therefore, we can go in and pull those studs out, replacing each stud at a time. And once the studs are replaced, we can remove the flange cuff.
So the one customer you had, you saved them $13 million.
Approximately, yes.
Oh, approximately. How much did you charge them? Not enough.
I don't
Not enough, right?
Unfortunately, I sent the invoice before we found out that number.
Okay, folks, we are at the halfway point. We've had 5. What do you guys think so far? Okay, I see our next team is making their way up to the stage. Number 6 will be Iliad.
I'll say hi, and then that doesn't count part of my time, though, right? So, hi. How y'all doing? Are you ready? Okay. Billions of dollars are being wasted every year in oil fields because of the inefficiencies of paper field tickets and manual invoicing, while electronic field tickets and automated invoicing are saving larger oil and gas service companies both time and money. Smaller service companies are being left behind. Why? Because they can't afford the high upfront costs of current solutions, which are too disruptive to implement anyway. Yet in these lean times, they can't afford to not be taking advantage of the efficiencies of going digital, especially since paper's hurting their operator customers too, who have to dispute 1 in 3 invoices and who have limited real-time insight into how they're spending money in the field. So what's the solution to this problem? Introducing Iliad, a web-based electronic field ticketing and automated invoicing service that's affordable for all oil and gas service companies to get paid faster, better, cheaper. Iliad replaces paper field tickets with electronic ones. It then delivers them into the ERP or accounting software that service companies are already using and then connects those through to all major PIDEX compliant markets. As a result of this, Iliad helps service companies get paid faster by reducing day sales outstanding, get paid better by reducing lost and underbilled tickets, and get paid cheaper by reducing the overhead it takes to manage all this paper. Iliad is sold as a subscription service, $25,000 for an annual license to support up to 20 users. Now, additional users does add some additional costs. There is a low per transaction fee, and there may be some upfront costs depending on the integration needs of each individual client, but even still, this is less than the cost of one full-time employee to manage all this paper. Iliad is already operational in the field with a locally run solution, and we're working on finishing up development of the web-based software as a service version and are currently looking for beta customers. Will be available for sale by the end of Q1 2016, selling direct to oil and gas service companies, in particular those under $100 million a year in annual revenue, as they're the ones that are in most need of a more affordable solution. But Iliad is scalable to fit the needs of the largest service providers as well. The total addressable market for Iliad is the estimated 20,000 oil and gas service companies that don't have an affordable, easy-to-use electronic field ticketing and an invoicing solution today. Assuming $30,000 in annual revenue from each, that represents a $600 million a year potential annual market size. By securing even just 100 new customers per year, by these numbers you can see how we'll be a viable and profitable business, generating millions in net cash flow. But with 20,000 potential customers, we believe there's an opportunity to add a 0 to these numbers, if not more. While we are able to self-fund this rollout without additional investment, we are interested in finding the right investment partner that can help us accelerate and expand our go-to-market strategy so that we can dominate this market sector. To this end, we're seeking a $1 million investment that will allow us to finish development of our SaaS infrastructure, aggressively launch the product to market, and become self-sustaining by the end of 2016. Your return on that $1 million will come in 2 different forms, dividends and acquisition. On dividends, once we achieve profitability, we will be distributing some percentage of net profits to shareholders on a quarterly basis. In terms of our acquisition potential, once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we'll be generating at least $10 million of annual EBITDA, at which point we'll be worth at least $50 million and will be a very attractive target for a range of potential acquirers. We'd like to thank you all for your time today. We welcome any questions, and we look forward to the opportunity to make someone in this room a whole lot of money, helping oil and gas service companies get paid faster, better, and cheaper. Thank you very much. And joining me on stage is Chris Hebert, the founder of Aristotle Alexander, the company behind Iliad, and Brian Fuselier, our CTO. So we welcome any questions.
So, very good presentation, by the way. Who have you talked to so far in the service industry that meets your targeted customer? What's been the feedback?
Feedback has been really positive. Everybody we've talked to said this is a specific need they have, especially in this market environment, these conditions. From the supplier side, they want to get paid faster, get more accurate with payments. We're in talks with a super major right now, operator, as well as a top-tier supplier or service company in the industry, as well as 3 key component companies in the supply chain, air, land, and sea. And it's been an overwhelming response from these guys that now's the time to implement this type of technology where commodity prices are where they are.
So no POs because you're not ready to roll out yet, right?
Correct, correct.
Yeah, although we do have it running on a locally run basis with a couple of companies right now, just not the web-based software as a service version.
Right. We do have companies with this in production realizing value from it today.
And I think the couple of big feedback we've gotten from service companies is, one, they can't afford the hundreds of thousands of dollars that the current market solutions require. And also, a lot of current market solutions require you to adopt a whole new software infrastructure, train everyone on it, everything else. This dovetails into the existing infrastructure you already have.
And we're moving into a pricing point that the mom and pops can afford as well, right? Because the top tiers have the technology, the infrastructure, and the team to build this out themselves. It's the suppliers in the $5 to $100 million range that really need the value but can't afford the typical solutions in the market.
Okay, it seems like there would be a lot of canned software that would do this, or some canned software that would do that. And of course, the problem with canned software is that you go to interface it to your accounting system because you want all this billing information to roll over, and then you're pulling your hair out trying to make it work, and now you're hacking it up, and it costs a fortune at the end, and it's always a problem. So how do you dealing with that? The potential for competition and the fact that you got interface with SAP or whatever, all the lookalikes.
Yeah, part of what we're doing now is building connectors to the ERP and accounting systems that represent 95% of the market. So the QuickBooks, the Oracles, the Peachtrees, the SAPs, NAVs, the GPs. Those connectors will allow us to reduce the cost of integration, make it simpler, and make it, from a cost perspective, more doable from the supplier perspective. There's always going to be some level of customization because everybody does business a little bit differently, but by reducing that, I think we can get a quicker implementation time and quicker time to value.
So but the software is customizable by the user to some degree, or not really? I mean, if somebody says, well, we use 2 job numbers, we don't use 1, and now it's like, well, we can't use that software.
No, we definitely can do customizations as needed for
Wait, you have to, or can the customer?
Combination of both. We do have some flexibility in the software, and part of our roadmap is to build out all the customization tools when we launch to empower the users, empower the customer to make those changes themselves.
Well, and I think it's also important the data that's being stored is usable to be able to perform analytics around your real-time key performance indicators. So it's not just data dumped into a place and then you got nothing you can do with it at that point.
What's the investment request again? How much you looking for?
$1 million.
$1 million?
Yep.
What are you going to do with it?
Finish out the development of the SaaS infrastructure, aggressively launch it to market, and be able to hit self-sustainability for this product by the end of 2016. Again, we're bringing this to market one way or the other. Iliad's built by Aristotle Alexander, which is a software development shop that's been a viable, profitable company for 7-8 years now at this point. But we want to be able to accelerate so we can get out faster, bigger, and really go take over this market.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Number 7 will be PhD Soft. PhD Soft. You got it right. I did? You sure? Actually, look, I didn't want to say it, but.
Let's give Joel a round of applause.
Well, we are talking today about how to use images to solve complex problems. You know immediately now what's the problem, right? Do I have to say anything else? No. Okay. So this complex problem, that is the accident that happens to platforms, offshore platforms, occur in different phases. In fact, when a problem in one phase is aligned with the problem in a second phase and so on, you have a hazard. And what we do is to solve most of those problems, so you don't have this hazard crossing all the barriers that you have on the process. We cover the whole process, from the beginning, from priorities, passing to inspection plan, inspection quality, repair painting specification, etc., to the end. I could say that what we do, we use a very complex software interface, a 3D model, with very high-end engineering to have this solution for the oil and gas industry. We cover all types of assets, not only structures, but also piping, static equipment, and every kind of platform. It is the result of 20 years development, and we have been using this with many different companies in Brazil. The idea now is to grow in the United States, where the market is 10 times larger. We have some competitors, but those competitors are like this. Do I need to say anything else? Okay. So you see here that we transform complex information in very simple images. You know immediately here what's the problem, where it's good, where it's bad, right? So it's me and my partner in the United States, Hosanna. Hosanna is in the room. If you could come for the questions at least. Well, we have been 7% growth in Brazil. We believe we can do much better in the United States. The idea is to have this money we are asking here just to speed up our growth in the United States, okay? This oil price low is good for us because software is the best way to reduce prices. We have been asked to partner with GE, Siemens, Lloyds Harris, etc. We believe they are good exits. And we are also aiming for new markets, new vertical markets like those. Thank you.
Okay, so the investment is, the $2 million investment is for sales and marketing, or is it for more software development?
In first place, sales and marketing. Second, sales and marketing.
Good.
Third, sales and marketing. And then we go for complete the management team and motivate partners through sales and marketing.
Right.
And development for
Good.
new vertical markets.
So
etc.
you're ready to go with the product. It's done.
Yeah, we are ready to go.
Okay, and who's your competition in Brazil?
In Brazil,
I mean,
we have,
do you have, what market share do you have, let's say?
in Brazil.
In Brazil.
Well, we have no competitors that are actually. We have competitors present in Brazil, but that they don't have actual market share.
If they
there.
don't have a contract with Petrobras, it's
They don't.
toast,
Yeah, because
right?
Petrobras is
So,
the
yeah.
only. Yeah, you know,
Okay.
that's the problem we have there, and that's why we have so many. So
Okay,
huge
but you
market.
work for Subsea 7 and these other guys, and who they have a, you're getting that work, or is somebody else getting all that other work?
I'm sorry.
Your competition. What I'm getting at is your competition. Do you have competition in the States that's doing something like this?
In the United States.
In the United States.
In fact, in the United States, we created the competition.
Okay.
So far, I don't know if it was good or not, because we licensed a previous technology to the company in the United States.
So you need to sell. I agree.
American Bureau of Shipping is our competition in the United States, and they use our technology, a previous one.
Can you give me an idea of your price point? How much would it cost me? Is it a license? Is it a fee?
Yes,
how do I pay for this, and how much are you
You
asking?
you pay a license fee for each asset per month, around $5,000 US per month per asset. And once you are paying that, any person, any user in your company or outside your company can use as many as you want, because we want to create this network effect. Have you, with your service company, changing information by using our platform? We believe it's an additional value we can add for you.
Can you help me understand, again, just what do you consider an asset? I may have 100 platforms.
Asset is a platform, is a
What if I
whole
have 100 of
platform.
those?
Yes, an asset is a whole platform structure plus the top side, including pipings and site equipment, etc.
So if I have 100 platforms.
Would be 100 assets.
Times 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we can do we can do a special prize for you, of course.
Good question. I'll have one. Thank you.
Okay. That's all?
Round of applause.
Okay, good job. Number 8, Cleargistics. Cleargistics.
Good morning. My name is Stephen Toops, and I'm the president and CEO of Cleargistics, and we are the cure for the common paper. Cleargistics was designed for oil field companies that are currently utilizing paper, spreadsheets, and other outdated technologies to document revenue and field activities. Cleargistics provides process control to the central office, allows for the efficient digital capture of field and vessel activities, and provides real-time revenue, activity, personnel, and other information. Many oil field companies still rely on paper tickets and logs and spreadsheets, and there are numerous problems with paper. Paper is not smart. It does not know that prices were supposed to change today. Paper gets lost, It needs to be transported, it gets dirty and mangled, and is expensive to produce. Paper also needs to be keyed in, basically documenting the same transaction twice. Paper also does not know that the white copy got changed, so the pink copy, which is currently in payroll, also needs to be changed. Therefore, companies using paper, spreadsheets, and other outdated technologies experience revenue leakage, increased service to cash cycles, and increased costs. A market opportunity exists to implement efficiency tools designed to remove paper and spreadsheets from the service to cash cycle. It seems that when times are good, people are too busy to implement efficiency tools. And when times are bad, the excuse is there is no money. However, current market conditions are requiring companies to be hyper-efficient, and Cleargistics is an efficiency tool with a real ROI. Cleargistics is cloud-based and mobile, and through the use of our synchronization engine, allows users to work in either a connected or a disconnected environment, which is very prevalent in the oil field. Our SaaS subscription model encourages usage by not charging for each and every person using the system in the central office. Beyond the oil field, our long-term plans are to expand into the more broadly defined commercial sector, comprised of hundreds of thousands of painters, landscapers, HVAC technicians, and others with remotely deployed revenue-generating assets. At Cleargistics, we are using our experienced team to penetrate a specific segment of the market with our flexible and configurable process engine. Our clear guarantee will drive penetration and market acceptance by reducing risk for our customers. The next 12 months will be busy ones at Cleargistics as we raise money, commercially release our solutions, and enhance our capabilities. Take the cure for the common paper and join the digital oil field with Cleargistics. Thank you.
Do you have any models built on just oil field or other industries on estimated revenues?
On estimated revenues, so right now our solution's being used by 3 different companies offshore, because our solution can be used either onshore or off. The onshore component, we're launching a beta with a customer in December.
I'm still trying to visualize what it looks like. So I'm on a vessel.
Yeah.
Who's filling out what?
The captain is. The captain is, or a designated crew member, is filling out the activities that are going to be central to the central office that are going to assist that vessel in billing for its services.
Thank you.
So I just want to make sure that, okay, so if I say, if I have these people working offshore, I say, hey, look, here's an Excel spreadsheet, it's cloud-based, I want you to fill it out when you get there, and you may not have internet connection if you're in the field, but at some point, you're going to connect up, and, I mean, it's the same thing for you. I mean, you're going to be you're cloud-based, but if you don't have connectivity because you're in the middle of the ocean or whatever.
Correct.
But as soon as you get within range and you're going to connect up, things are going to sync up.
That's correct.
How is that different than if I have an Excel spreadsheet and it's cloud-based?
Because our application is smart. So our application, items are dispatched or pushed to the application. So my hot oil driver, my vacuum truck driver that's in the middle of West Texas can look on his tablet and go, oh, okay, I know where my next job is. I know the pricing, I know the lease location, I know the well number, and I know what the service that I'm supposed to be providing.
What's the status of your product now?
Status of the product is we've released the marine product that's being used. The onshore product is being released Q1 2016. We will be in beta in December with the onshore product.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, our next team is, get my glasses on here. Power brush machines. Power brush machines.
Good morning. My name is Aaron Broussard. I'm here representing Power Brush Machine. Power Brush is actually a division of Begno Manufacturing. Let's first start by introducing Power Brush Machine. Power brush machine, pneumatic thread cleaning device using oil and gas to clean drill pipes, casing, and tubing, both the box and the pin end at the same time. We'll walk through the product now. Right here is a proprietary pneumatic motor which delivers high torque through this lightweight aluminum housing. The housing holds these rotors right here that are bearingless system. It's all being handled, the air pressure and the fluids are here in this tank, so it's dual purpose. So Power brush machines is a solution to the environmental threat that traditional thread cleaning machines cause. Start to finish, wire brush and power washing systems are messy, time-consuming, and provide inconsistent cleaning. By reclaiming the chemical fluid with the self-contained unit, power brush machines prevent spillage to comply with regulations. So that's a really big significant. When our sales guys are out there pushing this product, self-contained is by far the biggest factor in it. As you can see, the self-contained unit being used. Another real benefit is PowerBrush offers a very efficient single-user package that can allow for 2 people to clean box and pin in at the same time. Our customers are saying it's about a 20-second per joint ordeal. Next slide is what I'm really excited about. While this company is a very mature company, back in 2010, before 2010, I should say, it was passively marketed. But in 2010, myself and a group of folks who really saw value and a purpose in this product started to spend time, not money, but time in marketing it and building a website and going on YouTube, social media, anything we could do. The big buzzword then was free per click, right? They've changed it a million times, but we did the whole free per click route on it. And we saw 500% sales growth just by doing that. That led to us being an international player. 5 continents represented with our products. And it's being used in not only production fields, but also in inspection companies. And it's also rated for non-destructive testing as well. All that said, the future we see for the product is a more mature approach to international marketing. We also would like to expand our product offering and applications. And another thought is to internalize some of the manufacturing products and maybe invest a bit of engineering in it. So with that, I'll take any questions. Thank you, guys.
How much you looking for in investment?
That's a great question. You know, right now the cash flow and everything, we're still kind of analyzing it. That's been the thought, though, is what does it take? So right now, strategic partners is big for us, as well as cash investment is needed. To say a figure, I don't have it right now.
Okay.
Some idea.
I mean, I would say a few $100,000 would get us all the engineering and everything we need.
So if you clean the box and the pin at the same time, are you still using that one tank and pump system?
Absolutely. So that's the significant thing. Pressure washers and things like that, you have to buy 2 setups, manage 2 setups.
Gotcha.
With ours, yep, single.
And how much do you sell this for, roughly?
So you could get a single, you know, with tubing and casing, there's so many different sizes. A single size would be about $14,000. The largest system I've ever seen sold was about $90,000, and it could actually run up into over $100,000 per system.
And your business model is to manufacture and sell the unit?
Absolutely, as well as support. So there's a ton of consumables on this product. So people still come back to us for replacement hoses, for brushes, and things of that nature. The wear pads, so it's a bearingless system. Now we have wear pads that we make ourselves.
So Aaron, it's a Begno company.
Absolutely,
Begno has
yes, sir.
a very successful company. Why are they not funding it?
Begno's passion has always been about the manufacturing process. So what we're really, really great at there, thanks for the sales pitch, by the way, I really wanted this one. what Begno's really good at is making cool stuff for other people. Some of you guys, the judges, have actually gotten to see that and benefit from that. Our focus and our true mentality is on that, not sales and marketing. That's our biggest deficit. And to be able to have somebody to pay attention on the engineering side and just a mentor to learn, yeah.
So if I take it the system will last a couple years. I mean, you got to do maintenance to it. You're selling them for $14,000 to $70,000 or $100,000 or $90,000 is the most expensive.
Yes, sir.
And you to clean the ends of these pipes, and once you sold 3 or 4 to a company, you're not going to goes, I mean, what's the upside on this if you're not leasing them? And even if you lease them, they're going to want to buy them, or are they going to want to go around you
Sure.
and make one a little different? Or
Sure.
I mean, what's the upside, do you think?
So it's the consumables market. There is still great margin in the consumables, and there's still quite a few of them that they do have to come back and order. That's also the point of us trying to expand our product line and offerings. There's things that we have customers right now that are making on their own that we feel we could incorporate as an OEM offering. But that's a good point. And there is also a very good business model. At one time, we did lease them out, but the management and tracking and all of that stuff really wasn't favorable
So is
for
the
us.
leasing, I mean, is that
It's definitely an
is that
option.
administrative issue on the leasing thing, or is leasing not a?
No, it's definitely viable. There's folks that are have asked us that question. So it would be something with a strategic partner we could
The
definitely
customer wants
consider.
it, you should listen, right? Yeah.
Always, right?
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, our last and final speaker will be Mr. Gillespie, American Deep Steam.
Good morning. My name's Chris. I'm here to promote an idea for a new downhole tool. Not to insult anyone's intelligence, but if you're an oil producer, the formula for revenue is pretty simple. Price per barrel times barrels produced. The only way that you can increase revenue is if you increase barrels produced. The price is fixed. If you're a certain category of producer where you have deep, heavy oil, your options to enhance production are fairly limited. Heavy oil, if you're not familiar, is akin to maple syrup. When you first take it out of the fridge, it's cold, it doesn't pour very well. That type of oil is tough to produce. Fortunately, you can warm it up a little bit, it pours easily. Same with heavy oil. You warm it up, it's easier to produce. The standard, well-accepted way of heating heavy oil for the past 60 years has been to use steam. You bring a boiler to the oil field, make some steam, pipe it down hole, produce the oil. The problem there is that you're making steam in one place, but you need it in another place. And so all along that transportation route, there are heat losses. Those heat losses are relatively acceptable to a certain depth, a certain distance from the heat generation source. Unfortunately for some producers, their heavy oil is deep, and there's a lot of it. It's estimated that over half the heavy oil on the planet is below this about half-mile threshold. So that's the problem that we are trying to solve. You're making heat over here, but you need it in another spot. So our solution is a technology concept that is a downhole tool that is an ASME designed, ASME certified Section 1 custom electric boiler that is designed to fit and operate within a well casing. From the surface, you feed it electricity and water. It makes steam just where you need it, no matter the depth. And since it is electrically based, that depth is almost irrelevant. Whether it's 2,500 feet, 10,000 feet, the results are the same as a producer who has shallow heavy oil. So as I mentioned, this is a technology concept. It draws from a lot of experience we have in the past using a different style based on combustion, but this electric version is a new innovation, and we are interested in talking with folks who want to move with us from the completed, engineered, ready-to-fabricate design to a ready-to-go market, and that would take around $250,000 and 4 months of patience.
Okay, so you're gonna have to run some pretty heavy cables down there to get the BTUs to match the guys that are pumping steam, don't you think?
That's right.
So is that a doable thing, or and are they gonna freak out because you're putting all that high voltage juice down there? Well, and.
Well, this.
Just go ahead, yeah.
Everything that's used, except for the actual boiler itself, is off the shelf and already used in like electric submersible pump cable applications. So
people are putting this much power down the hole for other stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's good.
So Chris, the historical issue with heavy oil has always been the cost, right? It's tends to be higher cost to produce than light oil. And of course, at $100 oil, there's a lot of oil in the world we can go after. At 45, maybe not so much. Can you give me an idea, if I'm a producer, what kind of lifting costs? What can you do? What would I be able to use for my economics to use your technology versus conventional steam?
Far and away, the largest input on the additional lifting cost is the cost of electricity, without a doubt. So if we have, if we're working with a producer who has available power, then we estimate that it should add $10 to $15 of lifting cost. And of course, that's dependent on all sorts of characteristics, the characteristics of the reservoir, what your steam to oil ratio is. It's every site is different. And so thankfully, we have a great team who has probably more documented experience with downhole steam technology than anyone on the planet. Been at it for as long as the concept has been around. And we have a very talented reservoir engineer who can help us decide whether or not we ought to try it on this reservoir or save our money and go elsewhere.
Have you run any jobs yet with oil companies?
With a combustion-based unit, yes, we have 36 field trials that are well documented, and I can share those with you with varying results. High permeability is the defining factor. If the formation has good permeability, we'll get a good result. With the electric version, no. That's the next step.
I'm sure you've approached some of the clients. What are they saying at this point about possibility of using it?
We have a producer in eastern Kansas, one in southern Arkansas, one in East Texas, who are ready to go as soon as we show up with a unit, and they understand there might be some lessons to learn. They're excited about that. They want to help us promote the technology. Aside from them, we have about a dozen small independents who say, once you get that in, bring me in. If it does what you claim, we'll move forward. About half of them will flake out, I'm sure, but we're confident there's at least a half a dozen ready to go once we get there.
And Chris, just one more time, your business model, as I understand it, is to do the service and share in the production versus charge a fee, correct?
That's the initial approach we would like to take. We would like to enter joint venture production sharing agreements. That's why we're focusing on small independent producers. We do understand that they may not want to do that, and we need to get our foot in the door, so we're more than happy to relax that for the first year or however long it needs to take, and do a fee for service as long as all of our costs are covered. We're happy to have that conversation, and we can count it as racking up some good experience in field time.
That would be my suggestion, because I know a company that's tried it. They're floundering. Get some history before you do promote your production sharing.
I think that's good advice.
Good.
Okay, folks, let's give all of our speakers a round of applause. Okay, at this time, the judges are going to be tallying their scorecards to find out who is going to be the judge's favorite. At the same time, on your chair, you should have seen a card like this with all these good-looking faces on it. If you did have the opportunity to stop by the booth over the last couple of days, you still have a chance to vote for the crowd favorite. So the only thing you have to do is put a check by one of these pictures right here, and that will do it. On the back, if you can flip it over, it looks kind of like this. And it says, send me more information. If anyone in here is interested in maybe some entrepreneurial training or education, mentoring or coaching, donating professional services, joining an angel investor group, volunteering on the Innovate team, or other would be me. You can just check that one off. So if you're not sure what it is that you want to do, you can just check this box and come hang out with me and eat pizza and potato chips. Make sure that you fill out this side right here where it says name, company, email address, phone number. If anything else, just put the check at the bottom to add yourself to the newsletter so that you can get the updates as they do occur, okay? With that being said, I would like to turn it back over to Mr. Pete Prados.
All right. Let's hear it for Joelle, huh? That was great. And just to be clear, this crowd favorite is for an internal poll that we all kind of pitched in for who's going to win on this particular crowd favorite. But we already have the tally from the last 2 days who are going to win the crowd favorite from those that have come through the booth. So we're going to announce that in a second from the law firm of Nicholas, Nicholas & Nicholas, who officially counted all of the ballots and has the winner. Is that the envelope?
This is the envelope. College student budget.
All right. I don't know who this is, but I'll announce it at the same time that we announce the judge's favorite. Hey, we couldn't do any of this without our sponsors. So look, if you have sponsored this event, I want you to come up, please. Potenza, ADC, Lita, Cox. If JP Morgan is in the room, come on up, please. Come stand over here. We want to see you. Please come up to the front. Pixis. Sir Speedy, if you're in the room, please come on up. Please, come up to the front. We cannot do events like this without our sponsors. Please, come over here. Let everybody see you. Hey, and let's have a round of applause, especially for Frankie Russo and the team at Potenza, who have done the amazing graphics that helped win us this award. And also for Foster Marketing, who actually paid for the tent and has done an amazing thing to help us. George Foster and Tiffany, thank you so much. We also have some great prizes from our law firm, DMSA, who's giving $1,000 worth of legal services. Foster Marketing is giving to the crowd favorite $1,000 worth of services, and then another $8,000 worth of professional services to the judge's favorite. We have the Opportunity Machine, who's given up to $10,000 worth of office space plus professional advice. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. And Potenza also is going to give $1,000 to each of the winners for both winners. I want to thank especially our new sponsor, JP Morgan. This is the first time that they've invested in Acadiana in this way, and I think it's amazing to have people come up and get behind our what we're doing with Innovate. And thank you so much. So please. Give everybody a round of applause here. So what y'all think about the event? Should we do this every year? Yeah? All right. Very good. Y'all have a winner? Woo! Y'all excited? All right, so Bagno Manufacturing created these beautiful awards over here. And Raymond, if you do the honors. Raymond Hebert is the president and CEO of the Community Foundation of Acadiana, and Innovate is a business of the Community Foundation. We started as a Chamber of Commerce initiative, and now in our 4th year, we are part of a great, amazing, nonprofit, philanthropic organization, and great things to come. So, without further ado, we're going to announce, where's that piece of paper? Nick? Oh, that's right. The UL piece of paper, we got it here. So with, Nick, how many votes did we have roughly for the crowd favorite over the last 2 days?
100 votes, close to 125.
All right, good. And was it absolutely close within like a vote or two? Just say yes.
There were several that were very close.
All right, very good. All right. So the winner and recipient of $9,000 worth of professional services is contestant number 5, Flange Cuff. All right. So everybody obviously is a winner in a competition like this, right? Yeah? So I'm going to ask Thomas Chance, as spokesperson for the judges, to tell us who they picked, how they went about picking them, and why they picked their judge's favorite.
Sure. Well, thank you. Let me reiterate that all of the presentations were excellent. All of the ideas were excellent. And you got to remember that regardless what the judges pick or what the crowd picks, that to go forward with any of these programs takes weeks of due diligence. And so somebody that wins today or wins on a program, after you do due diligence, you may find out, no, we're not going to do this. And somebody who doesn't show up today with a winning thing, that doesn't mean they're out. So you got to just, a 3-minute pitch is not the same as 3 months or 6 months of due diligence. So anyway, you got to weigh that. But anyway, we all came up, we made our notes during the presentations. We came up with, we all came up with the same conclusion. And the winner that we've chosen today for $16,000 worth of services is Josh Suttles and Flange Cuff.
Wow.
So we're not Josh. He's taking home the bacon.
This has never happened in the history of LabCo Energy Innovation Pitch Competition. Well, everybody, that concludes this incredible program. I want to thank everybody again for coming out. Let you know that we have another pitch competition in 2 weeks, right across the street at the P-Card Center and at Light. And it's our Innovate Summit. It's our year-end summit. And Zach's going to just talk real quickly about that. You can register for it now. And you guys, except for Josh, can register to pitch again. No, I'm joking. But tell us a little bit about the summit.
Awesome. First off, I know we've clapped a lot, but we were concerned months ago, would anybody show up for this? So if you guys are sitting near the front, look around and just realize about 30 people have left in the last 10 minutes. So congratulations to you guys. Thank you for coming out.